Picture this. You've just built one of the fastest growing online businesses in America. Your customers absolutely adore you, your investors are thrilled, and your revenue, it is literally exploding. Then, out of nowhere, the biggest company in your entire industry calls you up with an offer to buy you out. You say no. But a few weeks later, that exact same tech giant starts selling your main product at prices so unbelievably low that they are losing money on every single sale. And we're not talking about a weekend sale here, not just for days, not for weeks, for months. The unspoken ultimatum hanging in the air is absolutely terrifying. Sell to us or bleed to death.
Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to our explainer on what is, without a doubt, one of the most legendary e-commerce battles in modern history. Today, we're unpacking the incredible, frankly wild story of the Amazon and diapers.com siege. We aren't just looking at some dry business case study today. We're going to analyze a brilliant, high-stakes game of corporate chess that perfectly illustrates how massive capital reserves are weaponized in modern market competition. By the end of this explainer, you're going to see exactly why having the absolute best product doesn't always guarantee a win.
Let's start right at the beginning. Section 1. Building the unlikely threat.
Back in 2005, while everyone else was chasing flashy social network dreams, two founders decided to build a business around a brilliantly unglamorous necessity: diapers. And what's really interesting here is how incredibly simple their value proposition was. Step 1, order diapers today. Step 2, get them tomorrow. I mean, it sounds almost too basic, right? But ordinary problems often create extraordinary businesses. Look, diapers are bulky, they're heavy, and they're notoriously annoying to lug home from a physical store. More importantly, parents with newborn babies are completely starved for the most valuable resource of all: time. By giving parents exactly what they needed with lightning-fast delivery speed, the startup's revenue didn't just grow, it skyrocketed into the hundreds of millions of dollars. The idea spread like wildfire through parenting communities.
But, phenomenal success rarely goes unnoticed. Moving on to Section 2, the giant notices.
By the late 2000s, a rapidly growing Amazon was aggressively pushing to become the store for everything. And yeah, that included diapers. This perfectly captures the intense market dynamic of the time. You've got Amazon driving hard toward total market dominance. And then you have diapers.com, a startup that had actually become the trusted market leader in this incredibly specific category. Parents didn't just like diapers.com, they were obsessed with it. In fact, reports from the era suggested that the startup was selling significantly more diapers online than Amazon itself. For a giant that wanted to own e-commerce, this wasn't just a bit of friendly competition. It was a direct, undeniable threat to their long-term vision.
So Amazon made their move. They approached the founders of diapers.com with an acquisition offer. And the founders? Well, fueled by a deeply held belief in their own bigger vision and their incredible growth trajectory, they delivered a dramatic, definitive response: no. They firmly believed they could build something much larger on their own, but that single two-letter word officially kicked off a brutal corporate siege.
Which brings us to Section 3, the brutal price war.
Immediately after acquisition talks stalled, Amazon started slashing diaper prices so aggressively that industry analysts suggested they were selling entirely below cost. Now, for everyday customers, this was an absolute dream. Cheap diapers delivered right to your door. But for the startup, it was a waking nightmare. You see, the crucial thing to understand here is that startups and giants fight under completely different rules. For a startup, you survive month to month. Cash flow is oxygen. Margins matter deeply, and every single dollar counts. But the giants' rules? They rely on massive capital reserves. They have giant war chests. If a billion-dollar company loses money for 6 months, they barely even feel it. But if a startup loses money for 6 months, they can disappear forever. This is exactly where massive capital reserves cross the line from a safety net into a direct offensive weapon.
Think of it like a marathon. Imagine two runners competing. One runner has enough water to last the standard 26 miles. The other runner, they've got enough water to last for an entire year. As the race drags on, eventually, one runner stops just because they want to. They have the luxury of choice, completely provided by their massive, virtually limitless reserves.
But the other runner, they stop because they have to. Their survival is dictated strictly by a ticking clock of resources. In the business world, that ticking clock is cash burn. When a giant weaponizes its capital like this, the goal isn't necessarily to win a quick sprint by having the absolute best product. The goal is simply to outlast the other guy.
As the siege dragged out, we enter Section 4, the surrender and irony.
The startup was caught in an impossible squeeze.
I mean, think about it. If diapers.com matched Amazon's newly slashed prices, it would completely destroy their profitability and dangerously accelerate their cash burn. But if they ignored Amazon's prices and kept their own prices higher, well, they risked losing the loyal customers they had worked so incredibly hard to acquire. Either path led to immense financial damage. The executives and investors faced agonizing questions. How long can we actually keep fighting? How much cash can we burn? Eventually, the brutal reality of the financial battle completely overpowered their success in the customer battle. In 2010, diapers.com capitulated. Amazon announced it would acquire the parent company, Quidsy, for roughly $545 million. And while it was publicly presented as this great partnership of two customer-focused companies, critics widely viewed this whole saga as one of the most famous examples of predatory pricing allegations in modern e-commerce. But this explainer wouldn't be complete without looking at the fascinating irony of what happened next. Because after surviving this bruising battle and selling to Amazon in 2010, diapers.com founder Mark Lord didn't just take his money and walk away. Nope. Years later, he returned to the e-commerce battlefield. He launched a new startup with another bold vision called Jet.com, which was specifically designed to challenge the giants once again. And eventually, Jet.com was acquired by Walmart for billions of dollars. The entrepreneur literally came back for round 2, taking the harsh lessons learned from the longest runway directly to another giant.
And that brings us to our final takeaway in Section 5, capital as a weapon.
When we zoom out from diapers and e-commerce, this story serves as a really profound case study for all modern markets. It teaches us a harsh but vital reality. Competing on the merits of your product alone is sometimes just not enough. We need to redefine what capital actually means in market competition. Capital isn't just money sitting in a bank account. Capital is endurance. Capital is optionality. It's the ability to keep fighting and keep absorbing losses long after others cannot. Massive capital reserves function as a weapon that buys the ultimate business resource, time. And when you have enough time, you can starve out even the most beloved, innovative competitors.
So, I want to leave you with this final provocative question. Was this a ruthless, predatory strategy, or is this simply the nature of aggressive, free market competition? It's a tough one. Business experts, economists, and founders still hotly debate this very question today. But whatever side of the fence you fall on, the undeniable lesson from this explainer is that in the world of billion-dollar business wars, the longest runway often wins. Thank you so much for joining me to unpack this fascinating story. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next explainer.